if you took a look at the most recent review video that I did on the MTH Caltrain set, then you see that I had this locomotive make a brief introduction in the midst of that video. And like I said, whenever you see me doing stuff like that, you just pretty much can expect a review video coming in the near future for that train set. And pretty much what we're looking at here are MTH Premier Line O-Scale F3 ABA locomotives painted in the New Haven paint scheme. Now, the correct engine that Metro North was running when they had these were FL9s and F10s. Now, of course, the FL9s were painted in the Metro North as well as the New Haven paint scheme, and the F10s were painted solely, from what I can remember, in the Metro North paint scheme. Now, I'm not exactly sure what the difference is between F3 and FL9s. They look pretty damn accurate as far as I'm concerned. If detailing this correctly, I mean, maybe there's something that I'm missing. But I do know with the F10s that the horn, the 5-chime horn, was located on the right-hand side and further back. And it did have a couple of compartments that separated it as far as the FL9s. And I don't think it was as long as the FL9s. But pretty much what we're dealing here, or what we got here, is a 5-chime horn, lit interior lights. You have windshield wiper blades, a bunch of detailing, which I can't even explain all these details. Operational headlights, lit number boards, and you have marker lights. Now, for whatever reason, if you get a look at it, the marker lights are green, and that's one flaw that I've been able to find on this engine. And I don't know why MTH has a consistent pattern of doing that when the marker lights should be red. Nevertheless, I mean, it doesn't take away from the engine. But the way this engine is meant to run is you have your primary locomotive, you have a mid-sectional piece that comes in the middle, and I'll show that those two pieces further later on in the video, and then you have your secondary engine. Now, although you can run your primary engine by itself as a single unit, the only disadvantage when it comes down to operating this as a single unit is that the rear couplers directly in back of the engine don't operate. So those couplers are permanently in the lock position. However, the front couplers you can adjust or open up according to whatever type of remote control you have or system that you have for your railroad. But the way this engine set is meant to run is function as one solid piece, meaning you can either have both locomotives running back to back with one another, or you can have the locomotives running back to back with the mid-sectional piece in between. Of course, they have a lash-up cable that ties all three pieces in together. So meaning that the front coupler will operate on each locomotive. The mid-sectional piece, the couplers, are in a lock position permanently as well. Now, each locomotive comes with figures on both ends of the cabs, as well as, like I said, the all the other detailing or whatever the case is. I do know that FL9s or Metro North eventually put ditch lights on their FL9s and F10s. So this is the only thing that I do notice is not on here. It does have these little hooks or whatever. I'm not exactly sure what the purpose serves. And it also comes with these doors that open up. They open up toward the inside, which actually helps out to the as far as giving it great detail. This might be a little bright, but what we're looking at, of course, we're looking at the trucks. I can't name all the details. I'll tell you what I know about. These are 2-axle trucks and 4 wheels on each side of the locomotive. You have all the other little details that go directly in between the engine. You have the fuel tank, which we know the speaker is located inside of that one. We also have, once again, your rear trucks, which are 2 axles and 4 wheels. Up top here, let me cut this light out because it's kind of bright. You have detailing as far as metal grates, a door that opens up, see-through windows, of course a crispy paint scheme that goes from front to back. Of course, we all know at the top we have the 5-chime horn, dual smoke units here and here, and then you also have see-through fans. Now, of course, you have this mid piece here, which is non-operational, but of course it has some of the same detailing: metal grills, see-through windows, doors that open up, You have see-through fans. Of course, these would be dual smoke units, but of course they're not operational. And then directly here toward the back, you have your secondary lash-up cable. And the reason why I want to take a quick pause here is because the one thing, well, I'll wait later on. But pretty much you got the same thing. And you have your lash-up cable that goes directly in to your secondary engine. And of course you have your couplers that are permanently locked. And here you have your secondary locomotive. All of the detail is exactly the same. Of course you have the cab figures on both ends of the engine. The only difference is, well, there's a few differences. You have your operating smoke units on the top of the engine, which are operational. And one of the disadvantages with this engine, I don't know if you would call it a disadvantage or not. Well, number one is it doesn't have a speaker located directly at the fuel tank. One of the advantages I will say, however, is that the marker lights are red, which is where it's supposed to be. I don't know why MTH has a habit for making green marker lights. But in addition to that, the only disadvantage behind that, aside from that not having a speaker, is that this locomotive can only operate with a commanding engine, if I'm saying it correctly. Meaning that if you don't have it lashed up with a lash-up cable to a primary engine, this engine will not operate by itself. So the only way it's going to work is if you have two engines tied in together. Now, as long as you got a lash-up cable, you can run it with the mid-sectional piece, or possibly run the lash-up cable in between some cars, whatever the case is, and you can get it to work. But I mean, other than that, it's pretty much the same thing, same detail, same great performance, just it can't perform by itself and it doesn't have any sound. Now, one thing that I did want to mention, or a few things that I want to mention, which is a real benefit about this, is that anytime you buy MTH locomotives, you know that there's a common problem whenever you operate your main headlight. Well, I wouldn't say main headlight, but mainly your lit number boards, that the light from the number boards can sometimes bleed inside of the interior, and even sometimes occasionally from the main headlight. Now, MTH did a good job with this train set, or with this locomotive set, because you can operate your lit number boards, your main headlight, and even have your marker lights on. Nothing bleeds inside of this cab. This, I believe, this is one of the most impressive things, or one of the impressive things that MTH has done. So you get pretty much accurate detail with this. And of course, we know the lighting, the interior lighting cuts off whenever the train or the locomotive starts to move. I believe they call that Rule 17, if I'm not mistaken. Another thing that I wanted to mention is that the sound. This engine comes with very accurate sound. The 5-chime horn sounds excellent. The primary mover, I mean, I have absolutely no complaints when it comes down to the sound. It sounds exactly like an F unit, which is something that I've been looking for quite some time, and MTH delivers a good product with this. The only thing I will say is I wish that the speaker had just a little bit more bass to it, but other than that, I really have no problem with it. The bell sounds great. The primary mover sounds great. The 5-chime horn, excellent. And it also, the little detailed sounds that come in between, I mean, it's just very accurate. Now, it does come with passenger sounds, or passenger announcement sounds. I'm not too sure how I feel about that, but I guess it's an addition to have, or a good thing to have when it comes down to running the passenger train. That way it can sound more realistic. But, you know, of course, if you don't like it, you just simply don't use it, and you just pretty much take it from there. On another note, what I really want to mention, which I believe this is like one of my best performing engines, and it's pretty, I mean, I think by itself or a single engine you might get really good performance or slightly better performance as far as accuracy, as we know that whenever it comes down to takeoff and crawl speeds, a lot of these engines tend to jerk or just suddenly just take off, and you really got to fool around with it to get a real accurate, consistent speed. With this here, it has very good takeoff. It'll start off with very slow crawl speeds, and you can gradually speed it up, making for an excellent realistic look and realistic feel. Because I mean, even though I only have a one big loop, but I do like to make my videos look realistic. That's the one thing. I'm one that likes to, I'm a perfectionist, so I do appreciate when I purchase something from a company and they take the time to actually make it operate the way it really should, or look the way it really operates in real life. Now, we all know how I normally do. I'm going to play, well, this is going to be my first time playing the announcement sounds. I'll let you take a listen to that and tell me, you can pretty much judge that one for yourself. And as I normally do, I will play the primary mover sounds, the horn and bell, and I will rev it up from 0 to 8, and just to let people hear the sound quality, and they can pretty much judge it see how they like it for themselves. And then I'll actually run it around the layout.